Welcome. My wife was unfaithful with a very close friend. She hid it from me, but I already knew about it. Hi all. I haven't posted in this sub before and have previously sought some advice from other subs, where the general consensus always seems to be that everyone in my position has to bail out of a relationship, so I'm hoping for something more constructive here. A few months ago my wife became close friends with a guy friend of hers, and it essentially ended up consisting of a bunch of flirty texts and plans to meet alone, which they did. My wife took a number of steps to hide the relationship, and lied repeatedly about things I knew until I told her what I knew, despite giving her ample opportunity and assuring her that I would be reasonable about it. There were some extenuating circumstances in both of their lives that explained why they became intimate, and she didn't want to come clean about the whole truth, but they obviously didn't justify the lines that had been crossed or the lies. Anyway, I got assurances that it was all going to end, and although they were still in contact, it was much reduced, and it was pretty clear that my wife had indulged in some sort of fantasy, and chickened out or had second thoughts when it came time for something serious to happen. It's taken a few months, but now I feel like we're getting along great, we've regained trust, and we've spent a lot of time together as a family over the summer. However, I just found out that my wife went out one night and invited the guy over, basically on the promise that something would happen between them. It seems that nothing happened, either because of the intervention of the group they were with or because the guy chickened out. It seems that my wife was the one who pushed it, etc. It also seems that more had happened the first time than I thought. I just found out, so I'll challenge her when I get the chance. We have kids, etc., so it's hard to imagine the repercussions, and I really don't want to walk away, but I don't think I can trust her now, and I think people would think I'm an idiot if I let it go again. What should I do, or have I reached a point where the only option is to give up? Just to be clear, I don't think they ever slept together, and I have definitive proof of the invite for a night out, etc. Edit. Thanks for the feedback so far. I agree that I was too soft the first time because it was so out of character and I never saw it coming. I've wrongly assumed it was a one-time slip-up, but obviously I have to deal with it and deal with the consequences. At least I can say I tried. Your wife values her need for connection with this guy over your marriage. You should never tolerate having to compete for another person's attention if you are in a monogamous marriage. Leaving is not the only option, but you will need therapy to get to the why. Your wife has to take full responsibility. That means access to the phone, chats, social networks, etc. If she's unwilling, or preaches invading her privacy, you'll save yourself a lot of pain by leaving now. RP, exactly, she needs to choose her lover, definitely an emotional cheat at the very least, or her husband. In the end she needs to lose one. There can only be one relationship if she only has one man to devote her time, emotions, and herself to. She's splitting herself between two, and that's not fair to either the husband or the kids. Marriage advice: cut her lover off completely, transparently and honestly, those three things, or OP is only going to get more pain out of this relationship. There were some extenuating circumstances, that would be lust then OP. You've done the pick-me dance OP, Google it. This never works, as you are undermining your own position and value at every turn. Basically, no one gives value to something they can have for free and at any time, no one. Your best option at this point is to force her to face the full consequences of her betrayal, show her exactly what her future looks like without you. Right now she thinks she can go out, eat cake, and you will be there to wipe her mouth. Read up on the 180 and employ it rigorously now. Good luck. OP, thanks for the advice. I actually meant that there was a reason they became friends that is justified, and I don't want to put details to identify myself, and I was okay with that, but yes, obviously, what came after that is not okay. It's time to play hardball and show him that you are serious about the consequences of his cheating. Talk to a lawyer to see where you stand in case of divorce. Start separating your finances. Once this is done, talk to your wife and ask her to tell you everything and that she only has one chance to come clean, and tell her that you have spoken to a lawyer. Ask her to leave the house as you and the children do not deserve this, and you need time to think things over. Talk to her only about the children. Give her strict boundaries if she wants the potential gift of reconciliation. Tell her she has to cut off her lover in front of you. If her lover has a partner, she has to inform her partner. She has to cut off friends who know. give you full access to her phone and social networks, get counseling, get tested for STDs and your children's DNA. There is a chance that she will reject these measures and end your marriage, but don't let her dictate your ground rules and don't be soft like last time, otherwise, your marriage will be hell in the future as she knows she will get her way. Comments. Update 1. 1 month trying to survive. It's been a month since I discovered that my wife's emotional affair had resurfaced. She told me the truth in dribs and drabs when I first found out about the initial affair several months ago and did it again a second time last month. She has now cut off all contact with her lover. We spent a couple of weeks apart, except for having to co-parent. They were not very good emotionally, and I was unable to concentrate on my work or any other aspect of my life. I then agreed that we would try to move forward in a more positive way, as if we were going to have any chance it wasn't going to be the way we were. Since then I have had more good days than bad, but every now and then I get a wave of resentment towards her, and it lasts for hours or even a couple of days. Is this the future if we stay together? If so, I don't think I can go on like this. Update 2. Wife admits she misses her lover. My wife's infidelity was exposed about 6 weeks ago. She admitted that she had genuine feelings for him, but would never want to be with him over me. She reluctantly agreed to cut off all contact. She has now admitted that she misses him. I don't think she intends to resume contact, but simply wants to be honest with me about the situation. I respect that, but I have enough problems without dragging her down as well. Is there any hope with this revelation that we can get back to what we were? Update 3. I have discovered that my wife has contacted her lover again. Her third mistake. I caught my wife twice last year in what were largely emotional affairs with an old family friend after her own divorce. There was a lot of lying and hiding things from me and only revealing the truths when I already knew them anyway. She, eventually and very reluctantly, agreed to break off all contact with him, and I think she eventually told me the whole story, although I'm pretty sure she never gave me any information that I hadn't already found out. For the past few months I have not been keeping tabs on her, as for the second time I had come to trust her again. However, I have slowly been noticing the signs that he was returning. Unfortunately, because of who he is to the family, it has not been possible to erase all traces of him. Tonight I clearly saw that they were back to talking about how they felt about each other. I'm pretty sure they haven't seen each other again, but what difference does it make at this point? I know I'm an idiot for thinking there was something worth fighting for, or more for believing she was even trying. I'm thankful I found out so soon instead of continuing to struggle. I'm done, and honestly, I'm not that sad. I'm happier knowing I gave it a chance and failed than jumping too soon. Family and friends will be devastated and I am terrible for my kids, but I will do everything in my power to give them the best life. Comments. I've had the same thing happen to me. You try again and again and again, and in the end you find they just don't care. Simply put, she knew it was hurtful and damaging, but just couldn't stop herself, like an addict to something. End the relationship, apply the gray rock method and move on down the line. You've given it your all, now focus on you. RP, if they cared, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. Do what you have to do to walk away with your head held high. But don't kid yourself, no matter how much they cry, those tears aren't for you. They're for themselves, they don't care about you at all. There's a certain relief that comes when you stop banging your head against a brick wall. At least when the headache subsides. Yeah, it sucks, but like you say, you won't die wondering. You know you gave it your best, but it wasn't good enough for her. The sad thing is that once you go through with the divorce and she sees tangible consequences for her actions, that's when she'll finally start crying and begging for another chance. Don't fall into the trap. Too little, too late. It will be time to really move on, and being married is not a prerequisite for being a great parent. I'm sure you'll take great care of your kids. Sorry to read your story, it is terribly disappointing when the trust you place in a spouse proves to be worthless. The tone of your post conveyed an impression of exhaustion. I understand, having to keep a close eye on a spouse is not good for emotional health. Best of luck to you and the kids in your new life. OP, yes, I am emotionally drained by it, as essentially the marriage has never been the same again. I actually feel pretty good about having a definitive answer as to what I need to do. After confronting her with the divorce offer and update here. Let us know what kind of reaction she had. It will be your last update, I guess. I feel for you, but unfortunately you will have to move on for the sake of yourself, but 50-50 on parenting might be an option for you. OP, I will definitely upgrade. I think we'll work together well once the dust settles. After repeatedly betraying you and having no consequences, she saw no reason to change, nor did she want to. Even now, if you break up with her, she will still not want to change, even if she is willing to tell you whatever you want to hear. Don't try to argue with her, convince her that she has done something wrong, or make her feel bad for hurting you. She doesn't care. Look at her for what she is, apply the 180, get tested for STDs and divorce. Don't fall for the cheap, meaningless words she uses to try to manipulate you. OP, I won't. If anything, I feel like I have been living in limbo for a few months, so it feels good to know which way I have to go.